Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's podcast. We have great guests today. We have Sarah Middleton Stiles and David Turner. Sarah is the owner of Smoked and Peak Drift Brewing Company, and David is the marketing and community engagement strategist. And we get into all things about real estate, all the great new businesses that they're developing in Colombia, and the family business. So I hope you enjoy. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Here for the Health of It podcast. I'm Dr. Randy here with Dr. Tom. As always, thanks for listening. I keep getting asked, how did we start this podcast, or why did we start it? For those of you that are new, we found that there were so many interesting people in Colombia that nobody knew about. And we kept having these cool conversations with people and wanted to introduce them to other people, but we had no way of doing that. So that's what started the podcast. So we focus all on South Carolina, primarily in Colombia. And we have some great guests for you today. We have Sarah Middleton Stiles, who's the owner of Smoked and Peak Drift Brewing Company, which is a massive new development downtown on North Main. And then we have David Turner, who's the VP of Marketing and Events. So thank you for being on the show.
Welcome.
Thank you for having us.
So tell us how you guys met and got into this together.
Well, so the fun secret is that we're also next door neighbors, and so we've been in this for a while. So Sarah and I have been friends for over probably a decade now, and when they were getting into developing the restaurants on Main Street and all the rehabilitation of the buildings, we just had friend chat all the time. And honestly, it was like sitting on the porch with a bottle of wine and laughing and crying about things. And for a million years, we were like, we really just need to work together on this. We need to do it. And so finally, a couple of years ago, we bit the bullet, and
He finally let me hire him. Finally. Yeah, but he actually has, what is it, your doctorate in Oregon?
Oh, no.
Dr. David?
No.
No. What
Doctor
is
in
it?
BS is more like...
No, but playing the organ.
Yeah, so no, my degree's in organ performance. So
Yes.
I know. What the heck?
So he plays all these.
I play the organ.
Yeah,
No
but
way.
piano's fabulous. Like,
Really?
I mean, everything's great. And so both my parents are Methodist preachers, and so my mom knew of David because she's just been so involved in like the Methodist church world for so
Gotcha.
long. And so whenever we found out that we were neighbors, like the house that I was looking at, my mom's like, "Oh my God, you have to buy the house now! Like that's like the best neighbor to have on the planet." And so yeah, we initially met through my mom. Though.
It was. Yeah, that's
through
right,
like
exactly,
church
yeah.
stuff. Yeah, and so now my mom. I mean, I guess they didn't poach you, but they got him to now be at our church and play the organ.
Really?
So.
Yeah, Washington Street United Methodist, yeah.
Yeah, organs are very Methodist. My wife's whole family is Methodist,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
just
yeah.
always an organ. But it's the
Music's a
only
huge
place that I
thing.
see it.
Like the Methodist church is all about singing. I mean, we do 9,000 hymns on Sunday, and they love it. So
Yeah.
it's great.
How did you get into that? Like, when did you decide I want to major in organ playing?
Yeah, right. You're like, what is it called?
Yeah, like I know.
You know what, a doctorate sounds good in that.
So I started piano. It's not all about me, but I started piano at 5 and just never stopped.
Just got
That's
good.
literally it. And then in school, so if you do a piano degree, you have to memorize the music, and if you do an organ degree, you can play your recitals with music. Literally, that's it. I was like, I don't have time to memorize all this, and my ADD is going to take over, so like I can't. And so that was it, and I just kept on going and played
funny.
churches all over
That's
the place.
great.
Yeah, so I still play on Sunday mornings. It's fun. You know, there's not a lot of people that do it anymore, so it kind of like keeps me hanging in there, with it,
Right.
just to kind of keep it alive. So,
Right. Good to know that there's a thing out that is this like are there a lot of schools that teach this?
No, nobody does it anymore.
I was going to say. It's
They're
good
like
to know that they're still happening though.
Yeah, all the programs are gone. It's kind of
it's
interesting. So. Yeah.
Now, what's it like being neighbors?
Oh, it's great. So we have a hole in the fence. We have a hole in the fence, and our dogs run back and forth. And so actually, at one point in time, Sarah had like an animal door on the side of her house, and I get a picture from her and her
Animal
husband.
door.
Well, a cat door, dog door. And
It's for bears.
I get a
and
picture from their bed of my dog sitting on top of them, and so that's
No kidding.
That's how we roll.
Do you guys get mad if like one of your dogs shits in the other dog's yard or place yard?
No,
we're
my
just-
whole
you guys are
yard
good
is
with it?
dog shit. But I have little dogs, so
Right.
it's like, you know,
It's
just
okay,
little,
yeah.
little nuggets.
It's like
you
the
know?
hard ones you could step on in your phone.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
And yeah. And then after my cat brought in that dead bird though onto my bed, we keep that closed.
The door
now.
got canceled.
The animal
Gosh.
door is closed. But no, for years we've been talking about like putting an actual gate and not just have a hole in the
I
fence.
know, like it's official.
Yeah.
And then get a plunge pool whenever I found out what plunge pools were a few years ago.
They're so
Right.
cool. Do you know
Yeah.
what a plunge pool is?
Is
Oh,
it the
yeah.
cold ones?
It's
Cold
like
plunge?
a little rectangle, like
No,
just
it's
small.
just like it's a regular pool. It's just tiny. I
Like
don't know,
regular temperature?
Not this small, but
yeah.
you know.
Yeah, like you just
you
like
just-
you soak.
Like
You just sit in
chill.
like a garbage
It's like
can
a
of water.
I mean, you're not
But in
training
the
for the
ground-
Olympics,
but in
like,
the ground.
They're like the size of this room.
right,
Oh.
right.
Yeah,
Oh,
they're
all right.
cool.
Yeah,
So like
that's
all of
nice.
us could get in there right now.
It's like an oversized hot tub.
Yeah, and I'm
Okay.
sure
That's
there's
cool.
health benefits
Yeah,
to
alright.
it. Y'all could tell us about to,
That's nice.
you know, convince us.
Do you
Oh, that's
cold
good.
plunge too?
I mean, I guess if the
I
water
do
was
at the
cold,
spa when they have
Depending on
one.
the temperature of the water, yes. All right. Let's hear. All right. So this, were you playing organ? Or like what were you doing before you
So I worked at Historic Columbia. I was doing development for
Okay.
them, fundraising, membership,
Nice.
coordination, that kind of deal. And then have been involved like in a million different nonprofits throughout our time here in Columbia. And yeah.
Today's episode is brought to you by our sponsor, Columbia Family Chiropractic, with 3 easy-to-get-to locations, one in Forest Acres, which is by Trader Joe's, one in O'Neill Court by the DMV, and one in the Northeast by Sand Hills. You'll be sure to have somewhere near you. They offer a ton of services from corrective care, on-site digital x-rays, spinal decompression for bulging or herniated discs, dry needling for injuries, pediatric care, and a Class 4 laser. They accept all your major insurances. And if you mention this ad, you'll get a discount on your first appointment. Check out their website at cfc4health.com or Google Columbia Family Chiropractic. That's cfc4health.com.
Nice. Sarah, how about you? What were you doing right out of the gates? Like you graduate school.
Decided, oh, well, you know, instead of, you know, signing up and thinking like, oh, I'm going to go get my master's in healthcare administration. And literally after talking with a few friends one night, the next day I signed up for the LSAT and went to law school.
So just didn't even think.
Yeah, no, like it was the most legally blonde thing. And actually in law school, I got like, like they always gave these like prank awards,
Yeah.
year 1L year. And I got most likely to be legally blonde. And I was
That's
like, girl, if
great.
only you knew. Like, if only you knew.
Wait, and you were blonde then, weren't you?
Yeah, I was like,
okay.
yeah, because I think I'm still
Like
blonde.
beach
I don't know.
bleach
I
blonde,
change
yeah.
it all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you were. So
But
you
yeah,
go
so
and
law school and then started working with my dad and my brother in our healthcare side. We have the largest physicians group in the state. Just branched out into Georgia. Fingers crossed, branching out into Florida soon too. So it's exciting.
So
And yeah, and then my brother was like, hey, you know, I'm looking at starting to do some more Main Street development, and I'm very much like the boots on the ground, meeting with architects, contractors, helping with the design, working through like, you know, the state and federal tax credits. And so, yeah, so then from there, my brother and I have just kind of done a lot of historic renovation. And of course, with David being at Historic Columbia, it was like, this is awesome.
Easy, yeah.
We'd work together.
This is so cool. We know all the same people. Like, you understand the ins and outs of what we're trying to accomplish and just like bring life and revitalization back to Main Street. So it was really cool to finally, I say that, finally, get David on board and you not have to like spend all this time going over like with the importance of what we're doing. It's like he already just was like,
right.
I know exactly what y'all are doing. It's awesome.
Yeah. So your family's kind of serial entrepreneurs or being known for
Yeah.
that.
Or known to own Columbia, the
I
entire
wouldn't say
city.
that. I wouldn't say that. No, just a few buildings.
So are you driving a lot of it? Like we got to get new stuff all the time, or are you drinking from a fire hose as you're getting stuff dumped at you?
Both, but I think it's just my ADHD, and same with my dad and my brother. But I'm the only one that's actually medicated, so I like to think I'm the more logical,
control.
sane one. but I'm probably not.
I control the leash.
I control. Yeah, I was like, honestly, everyone else has to rein us in. But no, it's really just like kind of like what you guys were saying with the podcast is like you just started meeting people and finding out like what all these amazing people in Columbia were doing. And that's kind of how it especially works in the business world where, you know, you're sitting down at some luncheon or, you know, at a bar having some cocktails, you know, and just the people that you meet are like, oh, I know so-and-so's looking to, you know, develop this kind of property. Here's what they're looking for. What do you know about tax credits? And it's really just like this natural conversation that's
Right.
happened for every single building that we've done. It's just been like, huh. And I love like seeing these like truly abandoned, grotesque buildings.
Right.
And you know, really showcasing like this is the vision I had in my head the whole time, that no one else could see the vision in your head.
So cool.
And then just being able to launch that has just been really fun.
And so Peak Drift and Smoked are your kind of babies, it feels
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
right? But there's the Physicians Group
Yeah,
and
yeah.
all the
There's
other
a
stuff.
lot. There's a lot.
How did you gravitate toward those two?
There was something just special about the building that Smokes in now. It was actually 3 separate buildings and 3 separate businesses who all, again, were trying to move to different locations or close down. And so it all just kind of worked out weirdly well. And I was actually having some, well, I don't drink beer because I'm celiac. So I was having some tequila at our lake house. And my brother was definitely having some beers. And then we were shooting the shit like, oh, what are we going to, put in these 3 buildings? Like if we buy them. And, we had walked through them together a few times. And I said, dude, I love oysters. Like, I think they're the best thing in the world. And especially if you can make them fun and flavorful, I love oysters. And he turned to me and, sorry, I'm going to cuss. But he turned to me just sitting there and he goes, the fuck no. I fucking hate oysters. And I'm not doing anything with that whatsoever. And so I was like, okay, that's really aggressive. Okay, hold on.
Strong
And
feelings.
so I pulled up this food truck that I had followed for a really long time. And it's like an oyster food truck, which sounds disgusting, but it's really cool. And they specialize like in char-grilled oysters, but they put like smoked meats and stuff on top of the oysters. And so I showed that to my brother and he goes, maybe I'd try that. And so long story short, I got him to try one and he didn't die. He loved the meat on top, still doesn't agree with me on the oysters. But I was like, well, is it weird if we do like a smoked meats in oyster restaurant? Like it's 2 things
Yeah.
that don't normally go together, but actually do and do really well. And I think describing it that way, Greg and I were both like, wow, that sounds like everything in our lives, like things that shouldn't probably go together that end up working really well. And so that's kind of how Smoked came to be. And it was really just like a fun project. That was my first one, really just with my brother. So that was really cool. And then we're like, well, why not throw a microbrewery in there too? And so
Brilliant.
So, midway through, like my architects and construction team just thought I was probably batshit crazy. But I was like, no, I think it's just things that don't normally go together, but why not? Right. And it's been really, really amazing.
Do you find that oysters are an aphrodisiac?
I don't get that. I know
that's the big
scientifically,
thing, right?
But if it brings people to smoke, like, yeah, it totally is. Have date night.
And then takes them back home.
That's your new motto. Looking to hook up, come to smoke.
We need to get the award for the best first date spot.
First date.
Yes. So is it fair to say that Greg likes meats, like loves meat?
When you say it like that, yeah.
Okay, just want to make sure we're clear on that.
God, I can't wait for him to watch this.
And then what's it like just working as a family? Like, what are meetings like? How do you guys schedule stuff? What does that look like?
Schedule?
I really don't have words.
Is it a lot of just running into each other? We should talk.
So much. Like I live by my calendar because with ADHD, it's just like if it's not on my calendar, it does not exist.
Yeah.
And so I try to schedule certain meetings with Greg, Scott, and I, all 3 together, and it's like a bomb goes off. Like it's so hard. We just had family photos. My papa just turned 90, so we got him and all the great grandkids together and did a photo shoot last week. And you would have thought like I was trying to, it was absolutely wild trying to get everyone to the same place. And I'm like, this is like 7 people. This should not be this difficult. So no, to get Greg, Scott, and I all in a room together is kind of unheard of.
Yeah, it is. But it's what's cool about it,
quarterly.
is working along with. I feel like I'm part of their family. We've been together
Yeah,
forever,
really.
And I can scream with the best of them. But literally, it's great because everybody brings their own dynamic to the table. So Sarah and I are like absolute creatives. You look at our text chain, and all it is like pictures of
Ideas,
food and flowers and restaurants and boats and whatever else, politics, and so, all that on there. And then Greg is very matter of fact, and he's a really sharp thinker and that kind of thing, but our hyperactivity and creativity probably makes him go nuts, and Scott's just a genius. He's just great. He creates success everywhere he goes, and and you know, it's just like
We all balance each other out so well.
But all of it's like a mind dump. Like
Yeah.
all of it, everybody gets in the room and it's just like, and then we figure out what we did.
Who's organizing all that? Are there a lot of? Do you guys have like pretty large teams that are taking and running with this stuff?
Oh, I mean, absolutely, especially on the healthcare side.
Yeah.
I mean, just being the largest physicians group. Yeah.
Right.
And it's people that have been with us, you know, for 10 years plus, so they understand how crazy and chaotic and whatever we are. And like David was saying, I mean, it really is. Like Scott's my dad, he's an absolute genius. But he'll just say, you know, hey, I want to open up this business. What about like in a week and a half? Like on December 2nd, we'll do it then. And then you have this whole team behind him, like you want to launch this whole new idea or this whole like you got to put some calculation to the madness, right? And so yeah, we have an amazing team on the healthcare side dealing with that, and then David's team is
We have a whole
absolutely
operations
understands.
team.
Gotcha.
Like and we have a person for each little thing. So like you're opening up a concept, or a concept needs like a refresh on it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have the creatives that can come in there and look at things that like, this is great, this can stay, this is junk, let's redo this, here's the color
Sure.
palette, here's the vision board, all that kind of stuff. And then we have operations people that go through and evaluate whether things are working well or whether they're not. And like, if we're gonna do a restart or a refresh, here's the things that we're gonna rebrand from that direction. Like, we're gonna do this better, we're gonna have these people over here. We might move, what's really kind of cool is in our hospitality division, we can move people around to different concepts based on their gifts and skills or like what they're
Right.
passionate about. So like if this store is not like a really great fit, it's not a big deal because we have one over here that's like right up your alley, and we just, you know.
Right. That's
Yeah,
cool.
you just kind of triggered this like memory from COVID world where you know all the restaurants are closing, everything's shut down, and it was wild because on our healthcare side we were tripling in the number of patients because we specialize in going to the patient's house or office or care facility. So like we go to the patient. And so since a lot of people couldn't leave their houses during
Right.
COVID, I mean, our patient population tripled. And so we couldn't even, we were like, oh, how are we going to keep up with just the operations as a whole? And we were like, well, the restaurants can't be open. So let's start, you know, talking to the management teams over there and figuring out like what people's, you know, abilities are. And I mean, we quadrupled our physician call center using the restaurant staff.
Wow.
And so they weren't just sitting there jobless through COVID trying to figure out what the hell am I going to do.
Yeah.
And so that was actually a really cool experience. I mean, you know, having 150 people that otherwise wouldn't have had a job. And in our heads, we're like, hold on, like, well, yeah, we're crazy and all over the place. We're also like, well, we can definitely put them through some online trainings, a little bit of in-person training, and then boom, add them to our call center.
Right.
And I think that's just where the preacher's kid comes out sometimes too. It's like, sure, it made sense for us, but it was also like I couldn't live with myself if during COVID it was like, oh, here's 100 people that
Have nothing to
have
do.
nothing right now, and
Yeah.
and you can't go out and get another job because you're quarantined. So that was a really cool facet too of like how those two worlds can collide.
And what is when you said a concept of a refresh? That doesn't make any sense to me. So I have to understand what you're talking about.
We have concepts of a plan.
So like for instance, you got a restaurant that's been operating for like, let's say 8-10 years, something like that. Okay, so not just the furniture being worn out and the walls have holes in it and all
Right.
kind of stuff from just people being in there. But like, does the menu still make sense? Or are there 5 things on this menu that are like absolute bangers and the rest
Right.
of it, sales are dismal? Well, nobody wants it, so stop selling it, right? Like, so go back, refresh that. I mean, even right now, like we joke about this, but nationally you can, alcohol sales is down by like 18 to 20% across the board.
Really?
Well, it's 2 things. It's not fashionable anymore, and semi-glutides. People can't drink anymore.
right.
Ozempic.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
Mounjaro. This is
Yeah,
not an
yeah,
ad for
yeah.
that. Whatever.
You could just say semaglutide.
Semaglutides,
It
yeah,
covers
yeah.
it.
I had no clue that it was down that much.
Yeah. So
That's a
that's the
lot,
whole
you
thing.
know?
And what's really
This next generation doesn't drink as much.
Well, that's why I just came out with the THC
Yeah.
That's right.
non-alcoholic
Yeah,
beverage.
Bingo.
But I think that's definitely a part of it too.
It's really cool. We were down at a restaurant conference a couple months ago in Myrtle Beach, and Jake Cooper, who's our general manager at Smoked, is also like the Restaurant Association's Bartender of the Year. I mean, he's just an all-around badass, and he won his award based on his mocktail menu. So
Yeah.
because so many bartenders, and I mean, I don't know anything about bartending other than like
I
get
can
the
drink
bottle.
it.
I can drink it. I know, I'm a great consumer. But like, so they're trying to like recreate a gin and tonic. Well, a gin and tonic is you can't make a fake gin and tonic and it tastes right. So they create these cocktails. Jake really gets all the credit for it. He's the genius, but like that are unique to themselves and they look fun. They come in the really cool glasses, and so like you can go out with friends and family, and you don't if for whatever reason you're not having alcohol, whatever. Like you can have a really cool drink and.
My wife was
proud
just
of that for
talking
us.
about, like, my wife is a big mocktail person.
Yeah.
And she remembers restaurants based on just that. So it's interesting that that's like a big thing.
It's a huge deal. I actually sat in. So Jake was one of the guest speakers at the Restaurant Association, and I was like, just pop in and support my guy. And it was fascinating to hear people's questions because they're trying to go back and coach their bar staff on like how to do this, how to create this, how to do things. And it's incredible. Like I'm bragging on him a little bit, but like how far advanced he is in like that craft and that
It really
art.
is.
Yeah.
It's a phenomenal thing. And so for us, like, I guess a couple months ago, I don't know if y'all heard about the Blue Zone project.
Yeah.
So it's like the whole thing, the mayor's office, the University of South Carolina.
I wanted to go to that. I didn't end up making it.
Well, I know somebody.
You know a guy?
For the next.
Okay, good.
So that was really exciting. Not to kind of
Yeah.
shift gears on that, but we heard about it in January of this year. And I knew nothing about Blue Zone, but I knew that if it was like based on sort of a healthy lifestyle and progressive living, like food's got to be involved with this somehow.
For sure.
Right? So I jumped in there and said, I don't know what this project is going to look like, but like I want to be the food guy. So whatever this
Yeah.
is, like we're doing it.
And I think you just sent me a text and you said, "Do you want to do something Blue Zone?" And I'm like, "Fuck yeah!" Like, I live for this. Like I live for people consuming healthy food and learning about it.
Like it's been the neatest
Yeah.
thing, and also for us, not just specifically at Smoked, but for us as like a hospitality company, to be a leader and like what's innovative and what's healthy and what builds up a community. So it's more than like, of course, our chef had fun time creating a menu around like the Blue Zone thing, whatever.
Right.
But above and beyond that, like a healthy community is one that thrives. It's where economic development takes place. Like all the things that you want are based around like a healthy lifestyle.
Right.
And so I'm proud of us to be able to like be pioneers and leaders in that.
That's awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think South Carolina is behind in healthy eating.
No way.
We're like second to last, I think, in the,
Which
in the
I think.
country.
So I think this is a needed thing.
It is.
We've been wanting it. People have been talking about it. Nobody just picked it up and ran with it. I think.
Yeah, I mean, my thesis, I went to Yale for bioethics and the law certification, and then I continued my thesis into law school for obesity regulation and prevention laws. When I tell you those stats from 2016, 2017 have doubled, if not tripled,
Right.
it's absolutely insane. And so that's something that I'm really passionate about is, just making sure that the food and beverages and everything that you put into your body is that the best thing that you can be doing. And so, I think growing up in nursing homes, I know we laughed about that the other day, but literally, y'all grew up in nursing homes. And, just being able to, have conversations with, 80, 90, 100-year-olds on what they would have done differently. And so often I had they didn't have any knowledge of, what healthy eating was supposed to be or what that was or, especially alcohol back then. And so it was kind of like, well, I'm very passionate about preventative health. And so the minute he said Blue Zone, I'm just like, oh my God, yes, we have to do it.
Cool.
And to be able to do that in Columbia, South Carolina, I mean, in the South at all, is pretty wild. And I think it just goes to show that, God, Columbia just has so much potential that I'm really excited that things like the Blue Zone are really having an impact on our community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the partnership between our private business and the university and the municipality of the city, the mayor's office, it's really kind of not just to be all warm and fuzzy about it, but it's really cool to have all these entities that coexist here.
Yeah, that normally wouldn't work together, but all care about this so much.
Right.
And
that-
delivered it, fundraised it,
Yeah.
executed an event, all the things. So
That's awesome.
it's been, what's funny is we talk about the organ thing. So I've been in the church world forever playing. And so with Sarah's parents being pastors and they did all that, I think there's really an extension of what we do is truly pastoral care. We care about the community. So we want to provide a place for people to land, to have fun, to get great nutrition, to have wonderful experiences, to celebrate the highs in their life, but also the lows. Come and let food take care of you. Let the people, so I think
Yeah.
That's an extension of like just who we are.
The third place theory. Too.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of like when we sit down and talk on our chiropractic side of things, like one of our main reasons for opening up and trying to create as many clinics as we can is to build a big enough herd so that people are focused on prevention, so that we can see statistics change in Colombia was the thing. And part of, like, we're not from here at all, but this just appealed to us so much because of the governments here. We have military here. We have a massive school here. It's in the middle of everything, and we could make a big difference. So it's awesome that you get, like, I think even through this podcast, we keep meeting people that push this more and more forward and get big enough groups of people together so we can see that, like, literally look at stats and go, wow, from what you were mentioning, like 2017 to 30 years from now, we made a difference. Like, we can see heart disease decreasing or cancer rates or whatever it may be. It's really exciting that you guys are a part of that. Now, are you guys just added a chiropractor to the group, right?
Yeah, we have a few chiropractors.
Which is awesome.
Yeah, it's absolutely fabulous.
Yeah, what's that been like? Like, how, when you guys are thinking about health stuff, especially on the prevention side, what areas are you guys looking into? How are you making those decisions on what you're adding?
Yeah, so we have like entire wellness teams on our physician side. I mean, we offer, yoga, preventative health education seminars. I mean, you name it, we're doing it somewhere.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I think growing up in the modern healthcare system, kind of, everyone forgets that your body is an ecosystem. So if my head hurts, you take headache medicine. If my foot hurts, you do something for a foot, instead of realizing like I always say, like, my veins, are the same as veins in a leaf. Like, our body is an ecosystem. Yeah. So if my foot hurts, 90% chance it's coming from some other area in my body that has nothing to do with my feet. Mm-hmm. So I've always loved, the chiropractic take on medicine wholeheartedly for that reason. And so I've, for a long time, really, mostly all I saw was holistic, chiropractic.
Growing up?
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. So if y'all know any more in Colombia, let me know. My other two moved to like Dominican Republic and Africa and all kinds of like cool places, like curing cancer in these giant air tube bubble things. I mean, crazy stuff.
Wow.
But so I'm looking for another holistic practitioner.
That's exciting. And you told us about, you came to Columbia Family Chiropractic, and I didn't even know that. And so
I know, I didn't realize y'all were even connected to that.
Yes.
So.
Do you want to talk about that, or can you talk about that a bit?
Yeah. So my son, whenever he was born, he had torticollis like in the womb, which means like his head just kind of like wasn't turned right. We never even got a picture of his face, so it would just be like, oh, look at his little hand every time. And so whenever but we didn't know that at the time. So it was probably like 8 weeks after he was born, I really kind of started noticing like definitely just the flat head that torticollis causes. And, so we ended up doing the helmet, but I really wanted to figure out, okay, well, there's got to be more to this. Like, if just from what I was reading, like, that just sounds really painful, uncomfortable. I can feel like little knots in the shoulders. And then, with the cranial development, the soft spot, I don't know any of the fancy clinician words. Yeah, so we started seeing Dr. Kelsey, and it was great because got to see her for a few months. And, I mean, it was the wildest thing. Like, people that don't believe in like chiropractic care, I'm just like, please just go to one of my kids' appointments. Right. So he's 14 months old now. But I mean, I'd be like, hey, Dr. Kelsey, like, he just hadn't pooped today. And she's like, hold on, let me press his poop button. And literally, does something in his stomach or moves something. And it's just like, oh, sorry about that, girl. Like, let me go take him to the bathroom and clean that up. But it really is. It's just like, hey, he hasn't pooped. And she's like, oh, I know exactly what to do. And even though he's there for his head, like, she understands, like, okay, your body is an ecosystem. So it's probably something else that's causing him not to poop too. So, like, what is that? But anyway, so it was really for his head. But I mean, what she was really doing was helping his entire body. And I just absolutely had a great experience.
That's exciting. When kids haven't pooped for a long time, I generally tell parents, like, the moment I adjust them, you just have to get them out of here.
Yeah. No, I mean.
And if they've never been adjusted before, they're like, yeah, no big deal. So I just tell them, like, go out. And then they always call it. they
I
blew
got
out
what
their
you mean.
car
Yep.
seat, and like I
Yep.
have to do my whole vehicle now because
Yeah.
they pooped everywhere.
Yeah, like I mean, that's just a nasty, disgusting example. I mean, I know
Just
that
one, yeah,
Right.
one example.
Dr. Kelsey did way more than that. But no, it was great, and so it was nice because like, oh well, you know, while I'm already here with him, like, can you see me too, or do you just see kids? And she's like, oh no, I'm pediatric and adults. It's like cool. So then I would get to get adjusted, which was always nice.
Love
Yeah,
that.
nice.
Probably time for me to go back.
So I want to hop back to the restaurants. Tell me, like, what was the learning curve like when you guys opened up this? Was it because was Smoke the first one, or did you dabble in some other stuff before that?
The Grand was the first one.
Oh, yeah.
The Grand on Main, the bowling alley.
Yeah.
And again, talk about things that don't normally go together, but do pretty well. So everyone thinks, oh, bowling alley foods like corn dogs, hot dogs,
Yeah.
like trashy stuff. And I was like, well, that's again not something I want to put in my body. So I don't want to put that out into the world. So we did, you know, a higher end menu and a bowling lane, and everyone just thought it was the weirdest thing. And actually, you know, I don't even know if you know this, Lee Mashburn, it was his idea to do the bowling alley.
Was it really?
I just had like a flashback there for a second. So whenever my brother and I were like walking through the building with Lee Mashburn, and he was like, oh my God, I saw the back area of it. He's like, dude, this would be like a really cool bowling alley space.
No joke.
And I was like, that's the craziest
Yeah.
I've ever heard. So, okay, whatever. And a few days later, my brother and I called him and we were like, okay, well, like, you know how we made fun of you for bringing this idea up? We're not in opposition of it anymore. And so I was like, you know, hey, Lee, now your construction team has to build a bowling alley. But
That's awesome.
Yeah. So that was the first.
Was there a lot of like ahas during that where you're like, oh shit, this is
The restaurant industry as a whole is aha.
That's what I always
there's
feel
not
like.
any aspect in the restaurant industry that isn't mind-boggling.
Right.
Truly.
right. And like the biggest challenges, I mean, I know like, isn't it mostly you make money on the alcohol side of things, right? And
Some places do. We're actually one of the lower ones.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like our you know, like what's that percentage that they were trying to do for a while where they were trying to make it a certain alcohol percentage?
Oh, it's like 30 something in it.
30%
Yeah,
alcohol.
30%.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and they were trying to
34,
make like a max or something for your liquor law, something. Anyway,
I can't remember,
and so then this is like a few years back. So I was like, well, let me do the math on some of like our projects, and
Yeah.
we were actually one of the safe ones. So I was like, I'm still completely in opposition of that being regulated.
Yeah, yeah.
Of course. But yeah, I mean, because in South Carolina legally we don't have bars, we just have restaurants, and so that's how they were trying to pull off that whole.
I
Right,
see.
'cause you have to have
I can
food.
go on a whole nother rant.
Really?
sorry.
Is that across the board?
Yeah.
You always have to have some sort of food?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know
Oh
that.
yeah, look at the stuff that's going on in 5 Points. Like,
Really?
it's crazy. Yeah, they're trying to like close down, you know, all of these. I'm going to say bars, even though I know they're restaurants.
Yeah.
They were trying to say, you know, a microwave doesn't count as an oven. There's a few other like legal like
Weird things. in there.
weird things that they're trying to find like this gray area in, basically just to get bars closed.
Yeah.
And it's like, why do we want to go out of our way to shut down businesses? But all right. So they were talking about just the craziest stuff. Yeah, like making it so you can only sell, you know, a certain percentage of alcohol of your total sales. And yeah, so hopefully that.
Can you smoke in bars still? Somebody was telling me in Myrtle Beach there's like or restaurants.
If it's a private establishment, which means you have a membership to it, which can be like
You can
$10
just
for the
rip-
year,
Yeah.
then the world's your oyster.
rip a couple dragons in the
You
back.
can, man.
And while other people are just eating. Like,
Smokes inside is a big movement now.
Yes. I mean, I think
Bringing it
everybody does
back.
now with like the little vape things,
Yeah, yeah.
which I also
Right.
hate.
Yeah.
But
yes.
You know what? I love going to the Grand because bowling alleys were just all the same before.
Yeah.
But the
Yeah.
Grand is different.
yeah.
And it was the first ever place where I had a robot bring my food out to me.
Oh my God! I
The
need a. What
robots.
time is it? Can I have a drink? Can I have a cocktail? Where's the booze? Yeah, that was. You know how we were talking earlier about how my dad's a genius, but he's like absolutely insane sometimes. So whenever I saw that like invoice coming through, and I was like, what did he spend this much money on? Like a and it just says like electric, you know, something. And so long story short, when I found out it was a robot, I was like, Scott, did you did you seriously go behind my back and go and order a freaking like serving robot? Yeah. And he's like, oh yeah, it was like the coolest thing. The guy let me like, you know, like he had a remote control one too, but I didn't think that would be a good idea. People would wreck it. And I'm like, oh my God. And I was like, why? And he goes, oh, and it has these cool little cat ears on it too. Like, and I was like, did you buy this whole robot? Like, in all sincerity, did you buy it for the damn cat ears?
I just love
And
this.
so it's like this. It's not just a robot; it's a cat robot.
Cat robot.
Bringing you. Your,
I didn't notice
bringing
that,
you your
honestly.
food.
It's got little ears.
Yeah,
It's really cool when they crash into each other.
Well, I was about to
My
say,
favorite part.
So it's like two Teslas, just like you know, which he also is obsessed with. Yeah, wait, maybe
Great.
there's like something going on there.
Like
With-
the electric.
Yeah, so my dad's
motorized
like obsessed with
robots.
like self-driving stuff.
Yeah.
Because like our whole physicians group has like a fleet of Teslas before Elon went a little cuckoo on the political side, way before then. And then the whole robot thing. Maybe he just likes self-driving robot stuff. I don't know.
One less thing he
I
has
never
to
thought
do.
about that.
Yeah.
One less.
It's,
Yeah.
it's way more funny if you know.
I love the idea of hands-off anything.
For sure. Well, did
Yeah.
did it turn out well? Does it save money?
No.
No, you can make a case for that, but it doesn't. It's really just more entertainment now. I'm
Yeah,
going to
I
be
think
honest
it
with
is.
you.
Well, and like he said, just the upkeep, and then like whenever they run into each other, you just can't help but laugh. Like it's just like it's funny.
We were at this the conference down at Myrtle Beach a couple months ago, and the sales guy for the robot was set up directly across from me, and I was like, "Oh hell no!
forgot
do
about
not,
that.
Do not do it!" And literally, he put it on automatic with this stupid little jingle, and it went back and forth and back and forth
Over and
And the
over.
girl that's at the booth next to me, she's like, "I'm gonna lose it right now." So I was testing the THC drinks there. I was like, "Girl, take this; it'll make it much better." And she did that. She was like, "I'm a little better," but I was like, "Here's the deal. I
forgot
know where
about
the
that.
battery
That's
is.
great.
I know where the battery is. When he goes pee, I'm plugging this damn thing."
Did you?
Yes. Like people were
Now
about
he's
to
gonna
lose
listen to
it.
this podcast
I'm
and
running
everything.
out of my drinks over there because people are going like nerves are wrecked over this stupid cat. Sorry, man. I did it. There you go.
Wait, so can ours play a jingle?
Stop.
Don't tell anybody
I
that.
know. Well, no, we just did.
It's
Hold
everywhere.
on, I'm taking it back.
Now, how many different business structure LLCs, like what's that web look like? And who is looking at that?
It's a legit spider web.
Yeah.
But no, it's really awesome. We have a great legal team.
Do they keep track of that? Like, what do you have? Like
Our-
30 LLCs?
Yeah, probably.
Something like that?
You got to think every project has, multiple LLCs under that for
Right.
a million different reasons. Then we have, the op zone with Peak Drift out in North Maine. And so legal and we have a massive accounting office for sure with some really talented folks. So I just let them do that.
Yes. That's what we were wondering. At what size do you start having a legal team or like a accounting team or a like PR, all
Well, I
this?
think in healthcare it's a little different, right?
Right.
Healthcare is just when you're like, and I know y'all understand that from the chiropractic world, but with the physician side of things, it's kind of like if a normal sized physician's office would just have like outside counsel, and but then you have hospital systems that of course have a few typically, I know everyone talks about like, oh, so you're one of the like guys from Scrubs, like the lawyer, in the Scrubs TV show that like cock blocks everything the hospital's trying to do. And I was like, yeah, but most hospitals have a whole team of those guys. So we had in-house counsel for a while, and then I kind of became that liaison universe. But I don't think there's like a particular size. I just think it depends what industry you're in. And, I say that I'm in-house counsel, but I'm really acting more of like a liaison, and we have like our outside, teams made up of various different law firms depending on what the specialty is.
Gotcha.
So you got to have your healthcare attorneys, then you have to have, architect, construction, you have to have guys that understand the insurance side. So, you just have to find, one or two firms particularly that have, the ability to handle every facet that you need when you hit that level. But
Yeah, that's like the bowling alley thing. Would there be a bowling alley LLC and then a restaurant LLC and then an umbrella?
no, it's just like all of that would be under the grant. But then to get the project started, when you don't really know the name of it, you're just like, okay, ABC 123 LLC.
yeah.
And so then you have the property company that is different than the actual, like the grand. So
Yeah.
the owner of the property is like a property group under us. And then you have the actual restaurants.
So you guys don't have any like funny LLC names?
I'm trying to think, because what was Greg trying to name?
Don't we have bacon and eggs?
Yeah, that's what
Yes.
like. What was that
Bacon
one?
and
That's good.
No, it was like it was longer than that. It was like it wasn't just bacon and eggs because we were kidding.
There's another ridiculous
There's another
one, too.
word.
It's just tough talking
but
to lawyers
so,
about it.
Yeah, so yeah, but imagine like so every form, right, that I have to fill out, or like if there's an incident at the restaurant or something, and it's like great, like
Yeah.
I mean, worst case scenario, okay, someone slips and falls and you get a lawsuit and you're like, oh my God, our LLC name over and over and over is bacon
Creme
and
brulee
eggs.
did it.
LLC. And so yeah, I try and like, be a little bit more professional. And then you have my brother being like bacon and eggs. LLC. And I'm like, because you don't have to sit there when the time comes and like defend that.
Yeah, we have some hilarious ones. We have one called Vertebro Chachos. And it's like
I couldn't even spell that.
that's exactly it's like we're talking to somebody seriously like, can you spell that?
No, but somebody on my
No.
team can.
Somebody came.
They would start the lawyers literally start laughing in the
Yeah.
middle of it.
Oh no, like yeah, no. We
Do you guys love reading? Are you guys readers? Like as a lawyer, did you just love the reading documents and books?
No, absolutely no. And if you ever talk to anybody who went to school literally for reading, like an attorney,
Yeah.
and if they ever say, no, I love that part of my job, immediately
feel-
don't trust them, leave
Right.
the room, tell everyone not to trust them.
Feels like the worst thing.
Yeah, no, I used to like reading like regular books and stuff
Yeah.
until law school. And that you just kind of like,
You got rid of all that.
such a buzzkill. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, for sure.
No,
But-
like music major, we just had to count to 6 at the worst day. Like really? Like, you
A,
kidding
B,
me?
C, D, E,
Your
F,
numbers
G.
get-
Gee, and that's a stop there. Yeah, right.
That's so true. Damn.
Any
But,
new projects in the works? Anything that you guys are looking at, that the team's looking at?
Yes, but I'm trying to remember. I think the one that I'm initially thinking of, I can't say anything because I've been in
I mean, like
NDA.
our most recent deal has been the Selena Golf Club, which was
Yes.
the old
Yeah.
Indian River. So
That's
Greg really spearheaded that, and then we opened up a restaurant, Gregory's there. So the restaurant is open to the public, and then the golf
Yeah,
course
yeah.
is membership only. But it's been really cool to take a piece of property that just needed some life and love and pour it back into it. And honestly, like there's nothing out there
right.
for like a restaurant. Like where do people
Yeah.
go? You know?
Right.
I mean, and so that's been a really exciting project to kind of do that. The golf course thing, like we're just kind of learning that as we go. You sort of.
I love that you guys are doing
Oh,
getting
sorry,
so
I'm-
many golf courses. I love that. The revamp of Indian River was great.
Nice.
We
Have you
played-
played out
Yeah.
there?
We played Selena probably a month ago, maybe, and it
Nice,
was
yeah.
awesome. It was
Awesome.
great. Yeah. Gregory's was still like figuring itself out.
Yeah, that's one of our concepts of a plan. Just
Yeah.
flying the plane and building it at the same time.
Oh, no. That is our
Yeah,
strategic plan.
yeah.
Just do it.
Yeah, and then we're in the middle of moving the Robinson room across the street. So that's
you guys
exciting.
is that a part? You guys have the Robinson room?
Yeah,
We
yeah.
do,
So-
we do, and it's great. So like the building that houses the Grand and where Robinson Room is now is actually the Robinson Building. So if you look way up at the top of it, that's
yeah.
the original name of it. So it's gone back home, a little bit more space. It was in the basement of the Grand, and then it moved to Main Street, the other side.
Yeah, it was just packed all the
And
time.
it's packed all the time. People love the concept.
Oh,
It's-
that's what was in the basement of the Grand.
Yep.
Was there like a tap room in there? Was that what the Robinson?
Yeah, like in the
just, like, scan a
original, yeah, in the
I remember
original
that.
thing, yeah, and because Greg and I, we were traveling somewhere and saw that system and thought it was really
Yes.
cool, and then yeah, just people in Columbia, I'm not sure completely understood it yet, but now you go to Greenville and they're like everywhere.
Right, Charleston has.
Yeah,
some-
yeah,
yeah.
So we just I think tried it a little too early before people were ready for it. But yeah, and then we were like, oh well, let's just do like a dessert bar. Some friends of friends connected us with some professional pastry chefs and stuff up in New York. Anyway, so we were like, oh, this would be kind of a cool concept. And then it just blew up, which has been great. And so then we moved it across the street into the bigger space. And from there, I mean, we just realized, okay, like we still need more
Yeah.
tables and
More
chairs,
space,
quite
yeah.
frankly.
Yeah.
We were just filling the space up too quick. So we're excited to be moving it. Like you said, I hadn't thought about that yet. Like moving the Robinson room back into the Robinson
Back in
building.
the Robinson Building, yeah. So
Oh,
like it all makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Do you guys look for partnerships? Like, are you almost like Shark Tank where people come and pitch you guys stuff?
not like it's very much against my will. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. All the time.
Everyone offers their opinion.
Right.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Yeah.
Come up to you guys and say, I got a great idea.
Oh, all the time.
Yeah.
And no, and but I love that though.
Yeah.
Like I love it when someone's like, oh my God, I have this crazy idea for X, Y, and Z, and I'm like, well, let me figure out if I can, help you make it work. Definitely a lot in the restaurant industry. Over the last few years, I've had a lot of people reach out and say like, I just want to pick your brain. I want to get your thoughts on
Right.
something. Or, do you want to partner with some ideas? No, I mean, I love it when, people are out there like using each other as a resource in Columbia. Like you said in the opener, it's just like, God, we have so many amazing people here to offer so many different things.
Even more so, like I think something that's kind of a brag on our company is that there's folks that are on that floor every day. So the host, the servers, the managers,
Right.
they're in that building more than any of us ever are. And I believe, and we try to open this up, like they have the freedom and authority to bring their ideas to us. It's
Yeah.
really exciting when
Yeah, like
somebody who's
internal,
there
too.
every single day and they're like, I don't know if I should mention this. I'm like, yes, go mention. What are you
Right.
thinking? You
Yeah.
see these doors every single day of your life. Like, what can we do better? And so that's not just necessarily in the community, but I think it's like a great brag on our company that we enable people to have that opportunity to have ownership in what they're doing.
Right. Is
Absolutely.
that what a day in the life looks like? Like is it talking to your specific leaders? Like what does a week look like for you guys?
I mean, I have
Kinda
a
wait.
mediation tomorrow.
I mean, like for me, so
Podcast today, mediation tomorrow. some
my
meetings.
team is like internal marketing and then the events team. So for us, like to just describe an event, it's anything from like a party of 12 people for a birthday all the way up to like wine pairings, bourbon dinners,
Oh,
oyster
yeah.
series,
Weddings, rehearsal dinners.
Yeah, Smoke got won best place for rehearsal dinner this year.
Yeah,
so,
sweet.
so like all of that kind of coordination and
Like holiday parties.
holiday parties.
Yeah.
We do everybody's like company holiday parties, all that sort of stuff. It's fun. So like that's a big part of our day. It's just managing the logistics on that.
Sure.
Part of what also I do is I help that team sort of strategize their sales plan. So when you have a company that comes in and they want to book a holiday party, like what's our strategy to let them like become part of the family so that we're the go-to for everything
Right.
they need. They have the special client that comes in town. They go to Smoked for the high-end dinner. They're doing
Yes.
team building. We're going bowling because it's just fun. And
Sure.
you can granny bowl if you want to, and it's great. Whatever. And so to really strategize in a way that, again, back to like what I was saying, where we see our work as a service to the community. And so that like the person who is booking those events for whatever big company, that they know they can call our team and we got you. Whatever idea you have, whatever size, like we do that. And then additionally, like the marketing side of it. So we have a team internally and then we work with some external folks as well. And that's a constant like re-strategize situation, because things change, trends
Yeah.
change. You get the internet as a bully, and so you have to respond to that in a way that like understands what the person's saying and that what they have to offer is their opinion and they're entitled to that, but also that like that we can come back and present ourselves in a way that's true and helpful. you
Yeah.
know? So,
Awesome. Are you both from here? Or either one of you from here?
West Columbia, actually.
West Columbia.
Yeah. Yeah,
Nice.
I went to BC High School.
What's BC?
I knew you were gonna ask that.
Yeah.
It's well, now it's gotten nicer. I don't think we ever won a football game the whole time I was there, but then all of a sudden they get this multi-million-dollar stadium built, and I was like, great. Of
From
course, like
Scott
right
Middleton.
after, of course, right after I leave. No, I mean it's like I know how to hide drugs in the ceiling of a high school kind of like
Push
that's
the
just the
tile
high
up.
school.
that was the
like,
off-record
Yeah.
part right there.
Yeah,
Please,
yeah.
dear God.
Well, I didn't. I'm 4'11". I couldn't reach. But like worst case scenario,
No tall
I know
people.
how to do that in my life at some point. Know some tall people. Yeah,
Okay, nice.
but it's
Are you from there?
definitely more inner city school.
Yeah.
And so
West
it's
Columbia.
Yeah, it's been really cool though watching like West Columbia develop over the last few years
Right.
though.
Oh,
So
yeah.
like growing up in West Columbia, it's always like, oh, I can't wait to like be across the river. Like the dream was, to be in Columbia, in
Yeah.
the big city. And then now I think a lot of Columbia over the last few years is kind of looking like, wait, what are they doing over there in West
Yeah.
Columbia? What are they doing?
I've seen that, yeah.
And so West Columbia is booming, which is really great now. But it was not when I went to high school. Let's just say that.
Dave, are you from here?
No, I'm from Atlanta originally.
ATL.
ATL.
Big Usher guy.
USHER. I know. So no, and then specific. Actually, Usher cost me a lot of money. You want a random story?
Yes.
Yeah.
So you remember Napster?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so had that. No longer downloading, no longer doing anything. But if your computer's plugged into the internet, people could still like
Get it off you.
snag
Yeah.
your things.
Yeah.
And so I came home one day. I was living in Greenville, and there's this stack of papers in a big envelope on my front porch. And Usher's like recording people sued me. I'm serious. True
and,
story.
And his husband's an attorney, by the way.
Right.
So that makes it 10 times funnier.
And I'm a musician, and I was like, Usher, what the fuck? Like, I work for no money at all. Like, musicians make nothing. You're making billions, and you're gonna sue my little ass over here? What the hell, dude?
like from something you made, or was it?
No,
You were just pirating so
people
much.
could pirate off of your computer if you were. I just used it
God,
to
I
like listen to. I was no longer
Yeah.
downloading because it was getting like a little dicey, and I get like
Yeah.
there's some copyright infringement. But people were still
Yeah.
so they send you a whole list of every song that's been like pirated off of your computer, and the last one was Usher.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
If
Usher.
you're listening, Ush, we got beef, man.
Just crushing the little guy, the organ
know.
player, just picking on him.
Yeah. So I grew up in Roswell, which is about 8 miles north of Atlanta.
Okay.
Our family's fourth generation Atlanta. We've been there forever and ever, and now none of us are there. But then came to
now none of us
None
are
of us
there.
and
fifth
then
generation.
came to South Carolina through Presbyterian College.
Nice.
Go Blue Hose.
Oh, all right. Are you guys? Do you guys see yourself in Columbia long term? Like, is this your any plans of getting out of Columbia? Sarah.
Potentially. Now that we have Peak Drift over in London, and in the next few months, we're the largest distribution group of American craft brews.
That's right.
Yeah. So my husband and I pop over there a few times a year, but even before that, we would hop over there. We just really love it, and he's just also a huge actual football fan, like soccer. So we always try and tie our business meetings into a good Chelsea game.
The real football.
Yeah,
Would
the
you call
real,
it the real football.
Yeah, because our American football is like handball. Ain't nothing about
Yes.
your foot except you're kicking it one time.
Yeah.
And you,
I mean, I don't watch football, but that's
Love
all
that.
I've seen.
well, you
know?
love. I know that you love hockey.
Yes.
and I had a-
How did you know?
Well, I had to write. Someone wrote in. His name's Matt Sluga. Wanted to know about the Penguins.
Did you write that down that
No,
night?
he wanted to know if you're watching the Penguins still.
Stop. Unfortunately, yes.
You love the Penguins.
Oh my God. Wait, David's probably like, what the hell is going on? I would rather watch the Kardashians than hockey any day, all day. Oh my God. So in undergrad at Winthrop, I lived with like 3 or 4 dudes, like just depending on the semester, and then it was me.
Nothing
And-
romantic.
Oh God, no, absolutely. Like with love, they're great guys,
Yeah.
but no.
Yeah.
But they all really liked hockey, and particularly one of my like best guy friends, Matt Sluga, Catherine Sluga's husband.
yeah.
So he always wanted to watch the Penguins game, which came on at the same time as like the Kardashians or Jersey Shore, like some trash show that all my girlfriends wanted to watch.
Yep.
And so we'd always like rock paper scissors, like what are we gonna watch? And whenever I moved out, I looked at him, and because he's from like, I don't know, somewhere in Pennsylvania. There's so many
Pittsburgh?
P's. Pittsburgh, then
Philadelphia.
Philadelphia, and then Pennsylvania. And you're just like, okay.
They're all P's.
Like, ask me,
They
ask
made
me
it
which
easy for
city
you.
ask me which city my husband's from. I don't know. Like, but it's one of those. Like, my dyslexia is like, look, it's one of the long P words. Like, go for it. So anyway, we moved out, and I was like, oh my God, I'm never gonna have to watch Penguins ever again. Like on you. And then of course started dating Jordan, and I was like, oh, where are you from? And he's like, oh, I'm, No, wait,
One of
it's
the
not
P words.
Pitts. Yeah, it's from one of the P words. I really should know this. I'm not
great.
telling his
That is
family about
great.
this podcast at all. And so, of course, like he wrote that down and used it against me.
That's great.
My question is, who gives an adult team the Penguin as their
I
mascot?
know. It could have been better.
I mean,
They're
what-
not very
what would you
tough.
pick?
The athleticism of a penguin is just questionable, I think.
Hockey's just kind of a soft sport, so I mean, I
Yeah.
could see why they would use
I
penguins.
thought they like banged their teeth
Blood
out with
and
a puck. I thought it
guts
was like,
and- Good God. No, I mean it's like okay to watch now. It's just like all the time. Oh
Yeah.
my
well,
God.
now,
It's like I'm never dating a Yankee ever again.
well, but Peak is actually.
I'm from Pennsylvania.
I didn't. Wait, we talked
Oh,
about
yeah.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah, because my husband is.
Peak actually is
unfortunately.
one of the beer sponsors for what's the Greenville team? The Greenville Hockey
Oh,
Team?
Swamp Rabbits.
Yeah,
Swamp Rapids. Yeah, that's like a brand new
Yeah,
partnership up there. So we're excited
Sweet.
to be involved with that. And
That's exciting.
Yeah.
My cousin Sam Jardine played for them for several years,
Oh,
so we
nice.
used to
Oh,
go
that's
there all
cool.
the time.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we definitely need to go to some games,
We do.
but just not having to watch the same team every time.
I'm gonna dress up like a penguin.
And live.
Wait, what's their mascot? Like it
The
is,
Swamp Rabbit.
yeah, but isn't it
Like a fierce bunny.
yeah,
like a-
like isn't
yeah.
it like yeah, it's like a
They're,
weird
they're a real
rabbit.
thing. Like not the one with antlers, but like
yeah, maybe we're onto something, guys. Penguins, rabbits.
Rabbits.
you
Yeah.
know.
And then, David, I have to ask you. So when I first met you at Smoked, I came up to you and asked you who cuts your hair.
yes.
And you were really excited. I was trying to sell you on Terry from Parlor.
Christopher
But
Klein at Metropolis.
your guy's great, too.
Does he go by Topher?
No.
Oh, okay.
Stop.
No,
Like
it
the
just brought
internet
back like a
topher?
memory.
The internet topher.
No,
Hi,
no,
I'm Topher.
there was a stylist I met years ago, like when I first moved to Columbia, and he went by his name was Christopher, but he went by Topher. And I was like, not
go-
Chris.
we all have past lives.
TikTok. Yeah, no, go on TikTok and then type in Topher.
Is that a thing?
Have you never seen that
No,
video?
I've never even seen it.
No.
Please tell me that. I'm looking at your social media team. Like,
that-
please tell me
Is
y'all
that
know what I'm
it's
talking
a popular
about.
thing?
No, it's just this really weird looking kid whose
goes
name
by
is Topher, and he's definitely not taking his Adderall. And it's just like this one clip.
Topher's such a great name.
Do y'all not TikTok? Like, I mean, I have like
I
a
know.
ABC123 account, so I don't like actually have anything on
Oh, you
there.
have a it's like
Yeah,
a
like I
fence.
just stalk everybody else and
Yeah.
stuff.
Oh yeah, I've never
Yeah.
posted anything on there, but like
Yeah.
all right, so this is totally hilarious. I was on another marketing team previously when TikTok was like really taking off or whatever. And like it's just sport for me, whatever. I mean, now people like use it for as a
Right.
resource to
Everything.
actually
Yeah.
find out things like that. And I'm sitting in this room full of people that are very aware of TikTok, and I was like, damn, I just thought it was shirtless men and puppies. And they were like, the algorithm got you.
The algorithm is algorithming. Oh my god!
That's
They were
your
like,
favorite page.
no, like we do like DIY on there, and I was like, okay, whatever.
Did you see? There was like a congressman a while back who openly came out and
Oh,
he said,
yeah.
like, "Oh my god, all that's on there are like dancing teenage girls," and everyone's like. You're like like you don't even have a shovel and you just dug a grave.
You gotta be careful.
I had the puppy dogs. That's redeeming.
Yeah.
Shirtless man. As we were talking about Abercrombie earlier.
I know.
What's your guys' favorite cocktail?
Tequila on the rocks with an orange slice.
Really?
Yes. So it's, I don't know, like at least in the healthcare world. So if
feels
you,
good.
it's
Feels
called,
right.
it's considered compounding if you mix like more than 2 ingredients. So like an IV bag, for example, if you
Yeah.
add like vitamin B and then like just fluids,
Yeah.
that's they argue that arguably that's considered compounding. And so I was like, wait, maybe that's how I start doing my cocktails. Like maybe because everyone always says, what kind of cocktail do you like? And I'm like, I don't like cocktails. But if I mix ice and one other ingredient,
That's
it's
it.
it's a cocktail. It's a compounding
Yeah,
cocktail. So that's where my brain went.
Okay.
But yes, it's literally just tequila.
Do you
on ice.
squeeze the orange in there or just the peel?
I mean, sometimes
Like a little-
you can get it muddled. It's really good. Like mimosas. You're never gonna go back to a normal one once you have like a muddled orange in a glass of champagne. Life changing.
Really?
Yeah,
So
like-
not the actual juice. You
And
just
to my knowledge, I invented it. I'm sure like other people have done it, but
Yeah.
I didn't
Just
like
nod your
steal
head
that
and
from
say yes.
anybody.
Yep, you did.
I'm just saying, I was proud of that. It's
I know you
fucking
should be proud of
good.
it. I'm rooting
Yeah,
you on, yeah.
What about your ice? Do you prefer like a big square cube or a ball
I don't
cube
really
or
care.
crushed ice?
I don't really care as long as there's tequila in it. I'm good. I'm
How's
set.
your tolerance? Like, can you put down a couple, or are you? You're
Yeah, like actually pretty decent. Not like an
Yes.
like
alcoholic,
pound for pound. Yeah, like
but yeah, I mean,
you're good with
being
it.
4'11", you know, I mean,
Right. That's
yeah. No, tequila just works really well for me, and going back to like I do care what I put in my body, so I
Yeah.
know alcohol is bad,
Yeah.
by the way. But in my head, I'm like, well, it's a vegetable. Agave is a vegetable. I'm
Yeah.
just having my vegetable intake for the day. And then I'm getting a little vitamin C, getting that little
Getting a
immune
little
boost
dose,
with
yeah.
my orange.
yep.
So that's how I justify it to myself. in
And
my
not
own head.
combining it with a bunch of sugar too, which I think is a big
Yeah,
issue
that's
for
a-
people.
I can't stand that. Oh my God. No, we were my dad and I were backpacking in South America a few years back. And because I wasn't dating anybody and no one wanted to go backpacking in anyway. So I was like, hey, like, Dad, like, why don't you come with me? And so
What a good dad.
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
what my
So-
daughters are going to ask me to go do, but I'm
Scott
just
went
going to have to say
backpacking? I
yes.
want to
He
go back to
did.
that.
Yeah.
I'm processing.
We've done 2 big backpacking trips.
Nice.
Yeah. But the South American one, so we get off the plane and naturally we're both pretty drunk by the time we get there. And we're getting off the plane and we're
Naturally.
like, we planned
Naturally.
this whole trip, right? Like everything's planned out. The one thing we forgot was getting off the airplane, all the signs were in Spanish. And we were like, dude,
This
oh my God.
It's totally trash.
We didn't think about this. Like we thought about everything else. And then so my dad's like, anyway, so we're like a weekend and I'm like slowly picking up Spanish because like we're staying in hostels, which by the way, my dad will tell you that we stayed in these little hotels. And I'm like, it's called a hostel. Like it's whatever.
Sounds
He's
better.
like, it's a little hotel.
Right.
It's kind of dirty. And it's like he really does. It's so funny. But anyway, go back to tequila. So finally, I got like after a week, I was actually like speaking like relatively fluent Spanish. I mean, one day after being home, I lost all of it.
Yeah.
But I was like ordering us, like food, finding restaurants, getting directions, and anyway, so the first place that we found that actually had alcohol, my dad's like, I want a big ass margarita. And so I was like, that's the most basic thing in the world, but sure. So he orders this giant thing, and then I order my like margarita, and then I order my tequila shots, like probably a double because I
Yeah.
deserved it after like a whole week of that. And he goes, "Oh, I can't believe you just take shots. Like that's just ugh." And I was like, "Well, think about what you're drinking. Like it has
Right.
the exact same amount of alcohol, but you have like 3,000
Syrup.
calories."
Yeah.
So for like 4 years after that, I mean, like he doesn't drink. He only THCs. So he's like little stony baloney.
Nice.
But like legally,
Yeah, yeah.
But no, but I mean, the whole time that he was drinking, like between that 4 years, he would start ordering like, but he'd ask for like
Right.
it in a shot glass, and he'd sip it out of a shots glass. And I was like, you can order it on the rocks,
Yeah,
dude. Like you
just
can
put
look
it in a
like a little
glass.
more masculine. But no, like I mean, that whole backpacking story was absolutely wild. And then if you ever ask him how to say
Little hotels.
like but also like words in Spanish, I was like, Scott, how do you say bathroom? He was like banjos, and he's so excited because he's like, no, that's really what they're called. And then I was telling my mom, I was like, Mom, like watch Scott try and say hello in Spanish, and he goes quesadilla, like, but he genuinely like has no idea what hola is after like being there for a whole month, and it's just like, bro,
Solid.
you're so so don't ever bring him backpacking.
That's
but
funny.
anyway, I got him off the sugar kick, so
Yeah,
that was
that's big.
yeah, I do that for a lot of people. I'm like, think about what you're drinking. And so, like, at Smoke, that was one of the big things for me. And finding Jake Cooper and Greg Williamson, Quinn Sellers, like, just these amazing guys who were really passionate about what they do. And they understood and appreciated the vision I had of, like, hey, guys, I want us to be able to dehydrate all of our own stuff. I want to make our own syrups. I want to do our own purees. I want this to be the cleanest cocktail that you can find in the state of South Carolina, at least, if not in the entire region. And they did it. And so, I mean, that's what we're doing right now. I mean, everything is literally made from scratch.
We need a bartender on the show.
Yeah.
Is it-
Oh yeah, Bring those guys in.
Does Jake have a full sleeve tattoo?
Yes.
Yes, that's the one I
Yes.
need then.
Wait, did you know him?
I-
Or are you
well,
just like
I know-
throwing shit out there? Like,
Oh, if
is
you have a-
it,
if
you know what
you
I
have a
mean?
full
Like, did you
sleeve
just
tattoo,
wing it?
Tom,
If you're a
knows
full,
you.
yeah, I have a whole list, categories.
No, so Jake's awesome. He and I really, like the Death and Co. like cocktail books. So really early on, I was like, I always joke I'm going to write a hospitality book one day, and it's a whole nother story, but
Yeah.
I think it's funny. But and so Jake was like, dude, I really want to do like a cocktail book, and I was like, oh my god, well let's figure out a partnership and all this stuff. And so he actually did some homework into
Really?
it. So hopefully in
Coming
the next
soon.
few years, I'd
Wow.
love to be able to do that with him. He is absolutely insanely talented. Yeah, Jake, Greg Williamson, Quinn Sellers. Quinn is actually with Peak Drift now on our sales team.
Nice.
But they all know what they're doing, and David enjoys all of their cocktails.
I do enjoy all their cocktails.
I just don't do cocktails.
Yeah.
So I really I don't either. Like I'm
You're not a big drink guy.
vodka soda with a lime. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
That's my
and again
tequila, too.
and again
Love
it's
that.
like going down to like same concept as the tequila thing. Like it's water,
Yeah.
vodka, and fruit.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But I appreciate the artistry
Oh, yeah.
behind it.
Right.
It really is. I
Right.
think people always think like, oh, bartenders, they're just like slinging drinks back and forth. But, at places like Smoked, I mean, it's true. Like, chemistry,
Yeah.
really brilliant stuff that goes over my head that they
do.
tell me all
I
about.
learned about the other day. They bathe bourbon in butter.
What?
You know about this? It's like
What do
crazy.
you
They
do?
like they
Throw a
melt the
stick of
butter,
butter in
and
there?
then
They bathe it in butter.
and then so they like it gives the bourbon like a creaminess, kind of a silkiness to it. So it just rounds off the edges of it, and it's like it's really cool. And
That
so I
is
was there,
wild.
and Jake was doing it, and he was like, "Here,
Yeah.
wait, taste it." He's like, a little tiny thing of like regular, and
Yeah.
here's with this, and it's literally like you put cream in your coffee, basically.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, that's
anyway. That was the
interesting.
newest
Comes
thing
out
I
some,
learned.
some really cool stuff.
It's
Had it. It's nice if you want to pretend like you want to be masculine and
Right.
just have straight bourbon or like a straight drink,
Right.
but you want it to not
Like,
taste
no.
as
Right, take the-
Well,
All right.
Well, that's
No, I have one more question, but
yeah. Go.
what anything unique growing up in Middleton? Like what
What
was
you
that
want to
like?
know?
I mean, because you guys, church world, business world.
It was crazy chaotic, but like learned a hell of a lot. So I think I told you this one night after that smoke thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so growing up, my dad was very like, no, I'm going to make y'all be independent, figure out your own shit.
Yeah.
And I mean, he really meant that. So at like 3rd or 4th grade, and then I guess Greg was in 5th or 6th grade or something. And my dad said, all right, like I'm cutting y'all's allowance off. And like, if you guys want clothes, if you guys want certain stuff at the grocery store, like, you know, y'all have to figure it out. And I was like, what the fuck? Like I'm in like 4th or 5th grade. Like,
I'm still shitting my pants
this
here
is
and there.
like literally like what? Like I'm just a baby. And like anyway, and so then he, you know, left us with a bunch of like books and everything like that. And so I must have been like 5th or 6th grade now that I'm thinking about it, because I read Rich Dad Poor Dad at the
Yeah,
time. And if you haven't
yeah.
read it, absolutely
That's
great
awesome.
book. I haven't read it in a decade, need to. But yeah, I read Rich Dad Poor Dad. Somehow that kind of gave Greg and I the idea of, okay, well let's look at vending machines. We found a vending machine on eBay for $1,100.
Wow.
And which, I mean, that's, you know, a lot of money.
Yeah.
And so we made like a whole presentation, everything. I mean, we got like the math together on all of this. Like, here's the cost, here's what we expect to bring in, here's the potential locations we could put it. I mean, we actually did some serious homework on it. And then my dad said, all right, well, how are you going to get the 1,100? And we were like, well, can you help us
you write a
at all?
check?
Like, and you know, I mean, like that was around the time that we started becoming successful.
Yeah.
I mean, my parents met when my dad was living in his car. So
Oh, wow.
that's, you know,
Yeah.
yeah. So literally from nothing. And so I think he was trying to make us do that same thing. And so he was like, well, where are you going to get the 1,100 from? Ended up taking us to now I know it's one of his friends at a bank.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that at the time. So we had to give our little presentation to the, like, you know, one of these banking guys who wrote us, you know, a loan.
Yeah, that's
and charged
awesome.
us like an interest rate. But really it was, I think, my dad the whole time behind the scenes.
That's awesome.
And I was like, so where did that interest rate money go then? Because if it just came from you, like, was I just paying my dad interest when I was in 5th grade? Yeah, and so we ended up putting those in like break rooms of the skilled nursing facilities and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And like, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, that's really what like started our own LLC.
That
And then
is
we got
awesome.
into ATMs. So by the time I graduated high school, I had like 2 employees. It was kind of cool.
That is awesome.
That is awesome.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was definitely chaotic, but in the best way possible. But it was also like, okay, you know, for 6 months, we literally lived in one of the assisted living like rooms. So like I could get up and go to breakfast. Like this is some point in middle school, because like we're between houses and stuff.
Sure.
I don't even know if you knew this.
No.
So yeah, so it was Greg and I mean, my parents literally had like 2 like room things at like a nursing home. I'm
Wow.
not kidding when I say I grew up in nursing homes. And so we lived there for like 6 months, but it was dope as hell, because like they all eat dinner at like 4 or 5. And so right when I get home from school and stuff, it's just like I just go like pick, you know,
have some
shoot
dinner,
shit.
yeah,
Talk with like Susie Q and Debbie, and they tell me all about the, you know, gossip of the new woman that's moving in next week. And yeah, I mean, it was cool.
That
It was
is
like the
super
coolest
interesting.
experience. Like,
And I need to know about how your dad picked up your mom while he was living in his car.
Dude,
you have
don't
to be
know.
a baller to do
Talent.
that.
I don't know. So my mom is 6 feet tall. She says she's 5'11", but she's not. She's 6 feet. And if you ever listen to this, Mom, we all know you're lying. And then my dad, he lies saying that he's 5'8", but really he's 5'5". So they both lie for completely different reasons. And so my mom's roommate, I guess, had met Scott and said, "Oh, I met this really nice guy. I'm gonna have him over for dinner or something." And I'm like, "Scott, did you tell them that you're like a hobo, or like did you just get
When
like
does
quiet?"
that come up?
So anyway, so my mom tells it that so my mom's roommate didn't know how to cook or do diddly shit, and so my mom's like, "Okay, I'll cook everything." And then whenever Scott walked through the door, my mom's like, "Oh, he's so cute. I'm gonna take this over," and basically like stolen from this other chick. And I was like, "Did you know that you were stealing a hobo? Or, like, were you
Fighting
excited?"
over 'em.
And I mean, to this day, he's like, "No, I wasn't living in my car. I was just living in my car for a few days between apartments." And I was like, "So you're living in your car?"
It sounds like we have like a thing that happens, this in between living in transitional situations.
Welcome to my life. Think about like transitioning businesses, but imagine that being your whole life,
Like
your entire
bed.
existence. But no, it was awesome. And then like by the time I was in high school, I was doing admissions in the skilled nursing facility. So I mean, everyone else would go to soccer practice or whatever. It's like, cool, I've already went to the gym at 5 a.m. before school, and then like was like, okay, well, got to go to work, and talking with hospital discharge planners. I mean, actually
Wow.
getting people admitted, understanding all the medical terminology. Then, I mean, you're also going over like the legal contracts with people. It was pretty crazy. Like in retrospect, to think, God, I was doing all that. Like when
Yeah.
everyone else was like playing soccer, it's pretty cool.
Right.
But
So you
It's-
didn't do any sports?
no,
Nothing.
and jokingly, my dad always says like that he wouldn't allow us to play sports.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's joking. But he wouldn't allow us to play sports because he didn't want to waste his weekends dragging all the kids to all this crap.
Right.
And now that I'm a parent, I'm kind of like,
You
oh,
get
that
it.
actually
Yeah.
sounds pretty good. So he
Yes.
started bringing us to the gym because my dad's really where we all kind of get that wholehearted belief of like taking care of yourself and preventative health. That really stemmed from him and him being in the healthcare industry at that point. And so anyway, so he would drag Greg and I to the gym, like starting in like 5th or 6th grade. And so we'd go to the gym every morning at 5 or 6, right before school. And then, so just
Cool.
So I always hear about the care facilities having tons of STDs.
Oh man.
Dude.
And maybe that's just Florida, but maybe it's everywhere. I don't know.
Well, it's definitely Florida. Florida is disgusting as hell. I mean, every headline, Florida man, you're like, no shit. You could have left that out. We would have,
We already knew.
But no, it's so true. I mean, there's some heart wrenching stories for sure, but I mean, it is absolutely wild. Like the drama. Like I was just
college.
saying how I'd get home from school and hear about all the tea.
Yes.
And while they're eating their dinner and I'm eating dinner as a snack. And no, I mean it's wild. Like you can have like 3 girlfriends, like 2 boyfriends, maybe your boyfriend's like
Wow.
at another unit on the same property. I mean, it's wild out
You
there.
ought to see the stats on the restaurant side.
Oh my God! No, everyone in hospitality is connected.
Yes.
Everybody. But that was good.
Yeah.
The restaurant people will laugh.
They own
No,
it.
but dude, like I know that
can't
you want to
imagine.
joke, but it's so.
Well, no, I
it's
hear
so
that's what I
true.
hear. That
Just wheeling down
Yeah.
the hallway to
Yeah.
the other girl.
yes.
Yeah,
Well,
so,
they
like,
talk about
But think
gonorrhea and
about it.
chlamydia.
So
The stats are through the roof.
Like I'm living and working in nursing homes, right? In high school while I'm taking sex ed. And I'm like, I'm not the one who needs this class. Like
man.
Miss Susie Q
75-year-old
down the
Mary.
hall. Yes.
Yeah.
Freaking Mary down over here. She has 3 boyfriends. You know that? And then it turns out my health teacher in high school, she was absolutely phenomenal. But her mom was in our, back then you called it the dementia unit, but now there's different terminology. But she was in the dementia unit at the time, and it was always so funny because like even she would make those jokes about the STD stuff in nursing homes and. But all I can think is like her mom was like the funniest person ever. Like she would just sit there for 20 minutes and like read the door sign that says like press door handle for 5 minutes or 5 seconds and it'll open.
Yeah.
And so she just goes and then like holds it and just waits for the door to unlock. So it's like this giant like sound for like ever until someone can get over there. So she was smart as hell. Like she was definitely one of my favorites. But yeah, I mean. Yeah, I don't know. I could keep going.
Yeah.
I could keep
Great.
going.
Now, have you always gotten along with Greg, like working with Greg since 5th grade?
No. I mean, like siblings.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Like literally we stopped being home for Christmas because in maybe middle school-ish, maybe it was high school, Christmas morning, he was chasing me around the house with a machete that he bought at the flea market. I was like, the number one. And I was like, oh, that's like, what the hell, dude? And so then I threw him down the stairs and then he kicked me. So then we both had like black eyes. Like there's like knives everywhere. And so my parents were like, okay, no, fuck y'all. We're not doing Christmas at home anymore. You've
more
like,
of this.
this is ridiculous. We're going to go somewhere where y'all can be separated. So no, I mean, I think like every normal sibling that gets chased around the house with a machete,
yeah.
like that's normal, right? Like, but yeah, I mean, you just have that like sibling battle kind of thing, but now it's really awesome. Like we just click so well off of each other in like the work setting and like business ideas, and it's really awesome.
Yeah, cool.
So he doesn't chase me around the house with a machete anymore. So
Now
it's
it's a
pretty
golf
dope.
You guys have grown up a little
Yeah,
bit.
now it's a golf club. No, that's my 14-month-old with a golf club. He started walking at 8 months, immediately picks up a golf club, and I'm like, I'm screwed.
Yep, great.
Screwed. All he does is hit the ball, though. He's good. He hasn't whacked anybody yet. Knock on wood. Literally.
This has been awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. That was a
great.
blast. So how do people reach you if you want them to reach you? Or
Best way to
how can people
support you.
support you the best?
No, I mean, I think just reaching out to David is usually like if
Slide
you
into
know,
your DMs
Yeah, slide
Yeah,
on the DMs.
yeah.
with a photo.
Make
Yeah.
it good.
Yeah,
I
good
got an
luck- good luck
Abercrombie
sli-
blazer.
yeah.
I'm gonna throw on.
Wait,
Save
please
the
actually do
bags.
that.
Great.
No, I would say reach out to David. Like
Yeah, I
if
got
anyone has like, questions or whatever, I'd probably go through David. Quite frankly, if you go into my DMs, I'm never going to see them because I used to use one of our interns like on the side. I would just like pay them to kind of do my own personal social that's private. So, I mean, it literally was just like,
Right.
making sure whatever. And but now, yeah, so it's probably been like 3 or 4 years since I don't even know how to add people. Like if you go and request me, and all the time people come up and they're like, I requested to add you onto your Instagram like
Months
2
ago.
years ago or something. And I was like, I don't even know how to fucking do that shit. And I'd hand him my phone. I'm like, here's my unlocked phone. Like, go do it. And then like, follow yourself or whatever. So yeah, good luck in my DMs. No one's gonna see them. But yeah, and so my phone just kind of stays constantly blown up. So if it's something that it's
got
like
you.
partnerships or anything like that, I would definitely go through David.
Absolutely.
Not to use you as like my personal assistant,
What I
but
do. What I do.
it's not really in your job description, Sarah's personal assistant.
Wait, I have a job description?
Yeah, where is
somewhere.
neighbor? Job description just says neighbor and handles everything.
Pulls up ChatGPT.
Pulls up ChatGPT. And,
Hey chat, what does David
what
do?
does David do?
That's great. All right. Well, thank you so
Awesome.
much. It
Thank
was
you
fun.
guys.
Appreciate it.
it. Thanks.
Here
We're here for the health of it.
for the health of it.